All right, we are live. This is the very first question and answer with the highly conscious man. That's me, Jack Peterson. Glad to have you guys here. On this show, we will talk about sexual escalation. I got some questions from one highly conscious man, and he has some questions about sexual escalation, so we'll be going on. We'll be talking about that. Let me get my headphones in here. So if you didn't hear that with the headphone that I didn't have in, this is the first question and answer highly conscious man show. On this show, we will be covering sexual escalation. As one of our highly conscious men viewers has asked some questions about that and how to kind of deal with the fears that come up. And on this show, we will have a guest, and his name is Michael Hellerstein, and he is a coach. He will introduce himself when he comes onto the show. I will make sure he is invited. And so he will be a guest on the show, and it's going to be great. We're going to talk for an hour about sexual escalation with women and how to get past the blocks that get in the way of you getting what you want in your relationships and being more of who you are and being more love, as that is what you're always wanting. And if you're ever struggling with blocks or areas of your life that you're not satisfied, more likely than not, it is a reflection of you suppressing your own desire of what you want or something within yourself, and you're not accepting and loving something within yourself. So, for example, with sexual escalation, you may be dissatisfied if you are not accepting your own desire, and you're in judgment of your own desire, and for that reason, and that reason only, is why you are dissatisfied. A lot of times you might project it onto women or the person you're interacting with, but more likely than not, it is a reflection of you and your own suppression of your own desire. So I'm looking to see if Michael is able to get onto the show today. Let's see. He's not on yet, but I will send him a message real quick to make sure he's on the show. Slight technical difficulties here, but that's okay. The show goes on. So, once again, my name is Jack Peterson, creator of the highlyconsciousman.com, and I help high-achieving introverts align with their truth and become powerful in their relationships and their careers. And the reason I help people who have introverted tendencies is because I can totally relate to them. Most of my life I've been very shy, insecure, suppressed emotionally, and just really kind of hid behind the scenes for a lot of my life, and felt like I couldn't stand up for myself and didn't attract the women that I was interested in. But until I put in a lot of work in my own personal development and working with mentors, my greatest mentor, Rahul Bambani, I worked with him one-on-one for 6 months last year. I just wanted to get clarity. I wanted to get the answers that I was searching for. I wanted answers to why I wasn't satisfied in various areas of my life, and why certain things keep coming up in my relationships that are just not working for me, that I just know I want more of. And just kind of helping me through my journey of facing my own fears and the things that I judged about myself, and getting through that stuff and finding the answers that I needed to empower myself and help me get what I was really wanting, which was being more of the love that I am, accepting and loving me in more and more of my fullness. And so it was basically a journey from being more light and discontinuing the self-judgment and suppression, and then opening up more and more and more and more and more, as I was very introverted, and then kind of helped me just like be more life and be more love. So it looks like my friend Michael is having trouble getting on the show right now. I'm going to make sure that he gets an invite. Let's see. Hold on one moment here, guys. Some technical difficulties. It says I invited him. Not sure why we're having this issue right now, but that is okay. It looks like we have 2 viewers. I will continue the show. Guys. Hello? Oh, Michael.
Hey, dude.
All right, you're here. You're on live, man.
Yeah. So I'm on my cell phone right now.
Oh, okay.
I know. I couldn't figure out how to get on.
Interesting.
Like on my. I know.
Okay, no problem. All right, so yeah, I introduced myself earlier in the show. So guys, the guys who are watching, this is my good friend and fellow coach, Michael Hellerslein. And Michael, why don't you introduce yourself on your cell phone?
On my cell phone. I'm sitting in my office in front of my computer, and I'm using my cell phone. So. Cool. I don't actually have to be in the office.
Okay.
So, like Jack said, my name is Michael Hellerslein. I am the founder of the website called Live in Trust, and I help stressed out, busy entrepreneurs and professionals come into alignment with their life's purpose. So I don't normally work as a dating coach, and I don't consider myself a dating coach. But it's all the same thing.
Right. Everything's all related.
All related.
Yeah. The abundance that you have in your business, and the love that you have in your relationships, it's all related, because it's all coming from you.
Totally.
How you show up at your business is the same as how you show up in your relationships, more often than not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you made that point, that you are not necessarily a dating coach per se. It's the same for me. And I want to make it clear to the viewers, Michael and I are not, if you guys have been into pickup artist stuff or like content like that, we are not like the one-night stand guys or the pickup artists. We are men who value being in our truth above all else, and we value um, showing up authentically and being more of the love that we are, and being the fullest and best versions of ourselves. And I just kind of wanted to make that clear for the rest of the show here, as we discuss this topic of sexual escalation. As one of the highly conscious man viewers had some questions about sexual escalation. So Michael, are you ready to go into the viewers' questions and discuss that in detail?
Go for it, man.
All right, dude. So the first question is, what are the best ways to show a girl you desire her to stay out of the friend zone? So yeah, this is the question of not wanting to be stuck in the friend zone. Honestly, I've been there before.
Let's start by reframing that question.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you authentically communicate to a woman that you're sexually attracted to her? Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So how do you communicate? Yeah, and the reason we reframe the question is because, let's see, what are the best ways to show a girl you desire her to stay out of the friend zone? Okay, so what's going on here, from what I imagine, is that he is interested in a girl, or maybe he's had this happen many times, that he's very interested in a girl. He's interested in her romantically, sexually, and he just remains friends with her for probably a long time, and he remains pretty dissatisfied, and probably feels a little off, like a little guilty about how things are going, and he's more like he's friends with a girl. She thinks they're friends, whereas in his own mind he knows that he's actually like really attracted to her, and he feels dissatisfied with the situation because he's not getting his needs met, or his desires met. And more likely than not, this is probably a common theme in his life. And I'll say, you know, it was for me as well. Years ago I went through the same stuff. Actually, not, you know, probably about 2 years ago I was going through the same thing. And what I've found from my own experience is, you know, it really comes down to how are you showing up and how are you communicating yourself around these women. Are you communicating your desire? Are you being honest and upfront with them? And that doesn't mean you have to go up and tell them, like, I want to have sex with you. But it just means, like, well, here's really what's going on. It comes down to, are you accepting and loving your own desire for these women, or are you suppressing it? And it sounds like you're definitely suppressing your own sexual desire, and that is why you are asking this question, because what you're really wanting is to be okay with your own desire and being okay expressing that, however that looks like to you. There's no like one answer to this. I could give you answers, but you know, it's really, the answers are always inside of you. It's not inside of me per se, but I can give you the guidance. And the guidance that I have for you right now is to accept your own desire for these women and express that in ways that you feel are best appropriate in the moment.
Mm.
How does that sound, Michael?
Yeah, it sounds good. I mean, it's a little hard to sort of ask theoretical questions, so it was nice that you gave that some background.
Mm.
And the one thing that occurred to me when you were talking was, what's wrong with being in the friend zone?
Mm.
What's wrong with having platonic relationships with women? Uh,
Yeah.
so I think
Um,
that's a worthwhile question. I mean, and I think the question of like why it's a sort of very sort of selfish question, right? Because what is her experience? What does she want? Where is she in her life? Is she
mm.
available, like emotionally? Does she have another interest? I mean, does she have a boyfriend? There's so many things that go on that I think we have to sort of understand that it's not necessarily the fact that she may view us as a friend may not be a bad thing. That may be exactly what the relationship is supposed to be in that moment. You know.
Yeah,
Mm.
most definitely. And let's see, hold on one sec. What it seems like is going on here is that, um, and I like what you said, like, yeah, what's wrong with being in the friend zone? So there is, there is a lot going on here. His own judgments are coming into play here, possibly the judgment of, I mean, the fact that he called it the friend zone, and that's okay. I used to be afraid of being in the friend zone too. um, the judgment is that being in the friend zone is bad,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I'm less of a man if I'm in the friend zone with a girl I find attractive, um, and maybe the judgment of I'm not attractive, because if I was attractive, then these girls would like me, and they would be
Mm-hmm.
attracted to me. Um, but the reality is there's nothing wrong with you, and that's one of the biggest realizations you could ever have, because the only things that keep us from being unhappy in our lives is our own judgments of there being something wrong with us. Um,
Yeah.
and if we released ourselves of all those judgments, there's probably like hundreds on top of hundreds of judgments that we've learned throughout our lives in order to fit into society, or what we learned from our parents. There's all kinds of ways that we learn these judgments. But that is the thing that is holding any of us back from deep happiness and fulfillment. And in this example, getting what we want, for example, our own sexual desire. And what you will find, when you fully accept your own desire and be more of the love that you are, is you're willing to accept all that is. And so let's say the next time you hang out with that girl, what are you judging around her? What are you withholding from her? Uh, and it's, in this example, what you're withholding from her is your attraction towards her. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
fully communicated your attraction to her, and you fully put everything on the table, like absolutely everything, we wouldn't even be having you wouldn't be having the question of getting stuck in the friend zone, because you would have already sorted that out with her, and you guys would be fully and completely clear with each other. You would be at peace, and you wouldn't have any sort of judgment or problem here, with quotation marks. Uh, because when you're fully transparent with people, you know, let's say, for example, so here's your truth. You're really attracted to her. You're on this level of communication, vibration, whatever you want to call it. And let's say she's not really attracted to you. So she's kind of down here. She's just on a different wavelength. So that's not really working out. And that's how it's going right now, is you're attracted to her, but you're not really telling her. So you guys are not really connecting fully. You might be sort of connecting on the friendship level, but there's a disconnect here. Whereas if you fully were transparent with her, and maybe here, I'll give you some examples. You could, and I've done this before in the past, is if you really care about her, call her up, or when you next time see her, say, hey, I would love to have a talk with you I would love to have a talk with you. Would you like to go on a walk or meet for coffee sometime? I have some things I want to talk to you about that are important to me. And when you set that up, really set the intention to really just open up everything that you're holding back from her and just be fully transparent with her. And this might be terrifying. I can relate. I know how you feel if you feel scared to do that, but I guarantee this will be one of the best things you've ever done for yourself, because this will transform the way you show up in your relationships, and it'll transform the connection. It'll change everything for you in terms of just being fully open and fully transparent with the people you care about. And so in this example, if you set up that coffee date or you go on a walk with her, set the intention beforehand to tell her everything that you're not telling, that you're withholding from her, which it sounds like is you're really attracted to her. Maybe you're sexually attracted to her, but you're not sure how she feels, and just tell her everything. Like maybe you're afraid of the possibility of ruining your relationship with her, but you really care about her. And that's why you didn't necessarily openly show her that you're attracted to her. That's true too. Or your truth could be that you're just really attracted to her sexually, and more of like a no strings attached thing, and that's really the main thing you're interested in. And that's okay too, and that might be scary to tell her that as well, but that's your truth. And I guarantee if you're openly authentic with her and you just open up about everything, I guarantee she will respect you more. It'll bring you guys closer. And so that disconnect, you'll bring it down, and you'll like meet in the middle somewhere, and you'll connect. You'll find a common ground. If you both care about each other, there's no doubt that will happen, as long as you are openly transparent with her and you tell her everything about you, because you sharing all of you allows her to share all of her truths as well, and then you guys can find a middle ground.
Let me can I Jack?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to break the flow, but I think this is a good point to add something.
Go for it.
I love what you said. Like, I didn't really sort of have a predetermined answer in my mind, but hearing you talk, I understand that is the answer. The one thing that I would like to add one thing to that, and also sort of walk through a hypothetical conversation, what that would actually look like.
Okay.
So I would add to it that when you do that, when you talk to her, you need to do it from a place of non-attachment, right?
Yeah.
You can't expect her to become your girlfriend after this conversation. You have to do it, because you need to clear sort of what's going on with you, and sort of understand the male-female dynamic, so you can either turn her into your girlfriend or move on with your life,
Yeah.
So the conversation would look like something like, can we, you and I are friends, let's meet for something quiet and private where we can talk, and because I really, I just want to talk to you. and then tell her, like, I feel, this is what I feel. Like, own your own experience, right? I
Yeah.
feel like I really like you as a friend and as a person, and we've been friends for however long, and I so much enjoy our conversations and interactions. And then tell her, like, but you're afraid of losing that friendship by having this conversation with her, and she'll be like, well, what do you mean? And you can tell her, like, I feel deeply attracted to you, but I understand that you may not be deeply attracted to me because I don't know what's going on with you. And
Hmm.
just ask her. Like, in my mind, if you feel deeply attracted to a girl, you know, that not just some random girl, but some girl that there's got to be some attraction from her as well. It's not like she's a
Mm.
fish or something. Like she just may be the type of girl that emanates attraction because she's really like sort of feminine. That may not be necessarily directed to you, but just ask her, like, is this just me, or is this something between us, or is there anything there? And if not, that's fine, because like I said, my friendship to you is so important. I don't want to lose that. Like, I don't want to force anything, but I want to know because this is something that I think about.
Hmm.
And if we're not going to be, so this is something that I am in need of or in want of in my life, and this is something that I need to talk about so I can handle, so I can move on with my life. So maybe if you're not going to become my girlfriend, like, maybe you can sort of help me out and like introduce me to your friends, and really sort of be honest with her, because when you're honest with a woman or with anyone, amazing things happen. They're able to open up to you, and they're able to sort of deepen their love or friendship for you. Amazing things happen after that. And the fact that you're sort of holding on to this attraction, and it's like distracting you from your life, you know, that may not serve you. That may not be the best place for you. That may not really be helping you.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like that does not serve you because it's taking up. That's why you're asking questions, is because you're not satisfied with it. So it's taking up energy in your life
Yeah.
right now, and it's really distracting you from, I don't know, being more of the love that you are, doing better work, and having the relationships that you want. Um, but yeah, let's go back to talking a little bit about having female friends, because it sounds like the judgment here is that it's not okay to be friends with girls that you're attracted to. Um, and we've already covered this in quite detail, but once you have that conversation with her, and you can just have it over the phone too, if that's the easiest way. Uh, but the main thing is to just really open up about everything that you're feeling. I would highly recommend journaling about it beforehand, so you can get really clear about it. Maybe write 2 pages at least in your journal about everything that you feel towards her, and really get as detailed as you possibly can with it. And then once you get really clear, then you can clearly communicate that to her. And if you really care about this girl, then yeah, by all means, do that. Um, and so once you do that, then you'll see that being like, even if you do end up being friends with her, and maybe she's not interested in that, just because that's her truth, that's what's true for her. Um, you'll see that you're gonna feel a lot better, and you're gonna realize, like, you know what, this is actually a lot better than hiding my attraction towards her, because now you're not like contracted and like kind of hiding something from her. It's like kind of the elephant in the room, which is taking up all this space and energy, and it's keeping you from connecting with her. Whereas when you fully open up everything, then you're able to just be fully transparent with her and fully open, and that'll affect all your other relationships too, because then you're practicing being more open and transparent. Which, when you do meet an attractive girl, and maybe she can introduce you to some of her friends that you really like too, then you can be more open with them, and you can talk about your attraction with them. And maybe you'll find a girl that really likes you for who you are, in your fullness, not in your hiding attraction. Um, because I mean, if you want to be with a girl that you can be yourself around, right? You want to be with a girl that you can fully express yourself and be the fullness of who you are, because that's what always feels best, is just being yourself. Okay, next question, Michael. What are the absolute wrong ways to try and sexually escalate? Do you want to take this one?
I mean, that's just, it's kind of a ridiculous question, right? Like, how about we talk about, okay, so, okay, let's figure that out. Okay, don't hit them over the head with a club.
Like a caveman.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Absolute wrong ways to try to sexually escalate. Don't smack her on the ass when you first meet her. Don't kiss her within the... Talk to her before you kiss her. Well, okay, unless you're just looking for a drunken hookup. Let's see. What are the absolute wrong ways to try and sexually escalate? Okay, well, let's get to the core of where this question is coming from.
Yeah.
The reason I imagine he's asking this question, and once again, this is okay. We're not trying to make fun of you. You know, I've been here before. Like, it's kind of funny because I can, you know, I've definitely been here before, and that's why I can relate. But where it sounds like this question is coming from is trying to do the right thing, trying to know like what you're supposed to do. And the reality is there's no like right or wrong way to do this. It's really just to be in touch with yourself and in touch with your own desire, and really be connected to what's moving through you, and be accepting and loving of your own desire. And so you want the answer of how to properly sexually escalate, and it feels like the reason you're afraid of like doing the wrong things is because you don't want to like offend the girl. There's probably a long list of things that you might be afraid of, which is it's okay, and it's understandable. Of, you know, maybe you don't want her to think of you as a pervert and like say, "Oh my God, you're such a pervert," and then tell all her friends if you like smack her ass or something. Or you're afraid of her rejecting you, or getting angry with you, or ruining the friendship with her. There's a long list of things I would imagine. But really, it sounds like what you're searching for is what are the right ways that you can truthfully and authentically express your own desire without offending the girl. Right? How does that sound, Michael?
Yeah, that sounds like a real question.
Yeah. And so, as I like to say,
start.
You want to start off? Cool.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah,
so I would just, I mean, you start by being sort of as authentic as possible, right? And like going over to her and being in her space, but not in a way where she feels uncomfortable, and then just really sort of connecting with your eyes and just sort of, you know, smiling and talking to her, and really sort of trying to like be present with her. You know, by looking into someone's eyes, you can really tell a lot about like where they are in their headspace, you know? And you can really read the situation. And then you can kind of see if she's sort of really into you right away, or if she's a little bit intimidated by the fact that you're a big, strong man, or you know, or nervous or uncomfortable. You can really start reading a lot of this kind of stuff.
And actually, this viewer is like a big guy, like a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
So
he's really got to be conscious of like making the girl feel that he's safe, and he does that by like just holding his ground, but in a very sort of kind way. So his hands are down at his side, palms are open, he's open, he's smiling. He's not like hulking over her or something, you know what I mean? She has some space, and he's looking into her eyes with like love, in a very kind and gentle way. And then when you do that, you can really see where she is. If she's really sort of reciprocating, you can immediately, put your arm on, or touch her outside of her shoulder, or something like that. But if you're not really getting the eye contact, you can ask her. You can say like, I notice your eyes are darting back and forth. Or, it makes me feel like you're really distracted. Like, is everything okay? And you can really call them out on it, and really find out where they are, sort of in their head. These things that, we're not mind readers, but it's perfectly okay to ask. Like, you're not able to make eye contact with me. Like, what does that mean? And by asking a question like that, I think you can really sort of understand where you are with the girl. And then things start to flow at that point.
Mm. Right. So you have your own experience of how you feel and your own desire, and then you have her, and she's an entirely different being, and she has her own experience as well, which could be an entirely different experience, possibly. For example, you're a really big guy. Maybe you're actually kind of intimidating to her, and she doesn't know maybe if she can trust you. So if you can imagine that kind of scenario, that dynamic, if she's like if she's not fully trusting of you, how she might not be comfortable, going to bed with you.
Well, no. I mean, the other side of intimidation is attraction too, right?
Mm.
So it's probably because she's like deeply attracted. I mean, girls love tall guys and big guys.
Yeah.
They love that because it makes them feel safe, and they love sort of that masculinity. So this whole concept that you're too big or you're too small or you're not good looking enough or whatever, none of that is real. All that's real is that sort of connection that you have with them. It's not about being cool, or it's about, can you establish a connection with a female? And you can't do that by being in your head and thinking about how hot she is and how much you want her. It has to be, you have to feel it, like, and be able to talk to her from an emotional level, not from an analytical level. Like we were joking the other day, right? Like, being good at math never got a guy laid, right? being analytical doesn't help you with women. You have to be able to emote. You have to be an emotional human being. So I mean, our society teaches men not to do that. It teaches us to like not have feelings and not to have emotions, but it's completely wrong. That social programming does not serve us as men. What we need to do is really be in touch with who we are and with what we feel, and then be comfortable with that. So this gets back into like sort of the fear of approach. Is that really a fear of approach in today's society when we're no longer cavemen? Or is that just this incredible excitement that you have in your body? That you have to learn how to sort of channel that energy and sort of and like use that to propel you as opposed to using that to make you frightened of a girl or something. 'Cause, I mean, I think we've all gone through that as men. We've all been sort of afraid to approach a woman that we don't know, that we want to learn more about. So it's more about approaching them from wanting to see if you actually like them as a human being, to see if you're actually able to connect with them. So so it's about thinking about it from that perspective. It's about thinking about qualifying them in terms of what you want in a woman, in terms of what you like in a woman, as opposed to just thinking with your small brain, so to speak. Because that's not enough. That doesn't really get you there. It may get you in the right direction. It may get you to see her, out of your periphery vision, something. But then when you actually are in front of an amazing creature, like a deeply feminine woman, then it's about like, can I connect with her on a very sort of human level? Can I make eye
Ah,
contact? What do I feel like when I'm talking to her? What is the space what does the we feel like? Well, what do we feel like together?
ooh, yeah,
Does it does it feel good to be with her? Does it make me smile and laugh? Or am I just really feeling sort of, am I not sort of able to get past this sort of deep nervousness? And that's probably, if that's the case, it's probably because she's nervous too, or she doesn't want the interaction, and that's
mm,
fine. Sometimes you have to sort of step away and be like, okay, that just was not going to work. I don't know, I may not like logically understand why that didn't work, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And that's fine too. Don't judge the experience. Don't focus on the outcome, right? Just be there for the experience as opposed to being in your mind like projecting what's going on. Like just try to just be there. Try to just experience it. Try to just be
right,
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I like what you're saying. And the mind can only like perceive and receive information, and mind level stuff like is not like is not really how you connect with people. If you want that depth of connection and that desire that you're feeling with these women, it's all about feeling with her and sharing that experience and feeling the we, like you said, Michael. So like when you really want to connect with a girl, like tell her how you're feeling, like whatever that is. Like there's nothing wrong with how you're feeling. You can even say, actually I'm feeling nervous right now because I feel really attracted to you. Or um, this is stuff that the pickup artist guys will never talk about because they're going the wrong direction with things, to be honest. But I'm feeling really excited because I love this connection that we're sharing right now, or I feel really connected to you right now. I feel a connection between us, and it feels really good. Um,
As long as it's like real, as long as that's genuine, right?
yeah,
As long
yeah,
as that's not like a pre-programmed thing that you're doing, because that's when things get weird and that's where things go wrong, and that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that stuff really can set back your development for years.
Oh yes.
Start doing like PUA routines.
Hmm.
Like what happens is you start to be successful, but in a very inauthentic way, and you end up sort of kind of hating yourself because you're basically a liar, and that's not that doesn't make you feel good. So it's very important to be in the present moment and just be like, I feel really good talking to you, like like if you do, right? It feels
Oh
really
yeah.
good. I love your smile, and it's so bright, and you're shiny, and like you're just so full of life, and I just love that. And girls love this, man, and she'll come back at you. She'll come back at you so fast you won't even
Ooh.
believe.
Oh yeah.
Women are so smart and like so intuitive, and like she'll just shoot right back at you. Like maybe she'll play with you a little bit and be like, "Well, aren't you used to girls like that?" Or like, or you know what I mean? And that's fine because she's just teasing you. She's just playing with you. She just wants to see if you can really own who you are, if you can really own your own experience. And that's really
Yeah.
important. That's really important for girls to know that you're real, to know that you're actually a strong man.
Mm-hmm.
So this, what we're doing now, I mean, we're not talking about like, it's very important that we're clear here. We're not talking about how to be a feminine man. We're talking about how to be in touch with your feminine energy, but in a very masculine way, right? It's
Mm.
about you owning your experience in terms of you owning how you feel in the moment when you're talking to this beautiful creature. And
Mm.
sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes like you don't feel anything for her. Like sometimes you're just kind of looking at this vacant thing and you're just like, wow, I don't feel any sort of anything good right now. I'm just going to get out of here. And that does happen. It's not like it's not like all girls are just full of such incredible beauty and warmth and love, and you know what I mean. So other girls have other things going on, and it's
Yeah,
important to allow that and let them have their own things. It's like, okay, well, you know, I don't know if you have a boyfriend or what's going on in your life right now, but I'm not feeling anything right here, so I'll go talk to someone else.
yeah, and I
You know?
guarantee to the viewers, you will find that a lot of times these beautiful women that you think are so amazing, they're so incredible, and you get so nervous about showing your attraction to them, you'll notice, I imagine you'll notice that, sometimes when you actually get to know them, like, actually there's, like, no connection here, really. Like, there's not much here, actually. And the whole time you might have been, and, once again, I've done this many times in my past, is project onto them, like, oh my God, like, she's amazing, like, she's, like, the woman of my dreams. Like, I would possibly, like, marry her, or, like, her, I'd love to have her, like, as my girlfriend. But really, that was just all this behind the scenes, like, thinking about it and, like, fantasizing and, like, creating this whole, like, fantasy that's not even real. And then the fact that I would never actually, like, communicate with and, like, actually get to know her, it was all this, like, fake reality, until that moment when you actually, like, tell her everything that you're feeling, and then you actually realize that it was all fake. It was just something that you created in your own mind.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me many times in the past.
Yeah.
But to get past that is just to be upfront with them, like in every moment, just be real, be in your truth. This takes practice. It might not be the easiest thing to do right now. Just take some baby steps. Practice, communicating a little bit more how you're feeling, like dropping into your body, taking deep breaths. That's kind of how you get into your body more. A lot of my viewers we're in our heads a lot. And when we're in our heads, we're thinking about stuff all the time. We tend to disconnect from how we're feeling. So your feeling is in your body. Your emotions are energy in motion that are actually in your body. That's why when you see, like, an amazing, super attractive woman, you actually feel nervous. You might start shaking. Like, you feel it in your body. And so the truth is always inside of you, literally inside of your body. Usually when I kind of tap into my own body, I try to feel like in my belly, like, how am I feeling right now? I get a lot of my answers from my belly. You know how people say, like, following your gut or following your heart. So literally, like, draw your awareness, like, into your heart space and down into your belly, and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? And you might realize, well, I'm actually feeling really afraid, or I'm feeling scared, or it could be anything. I'm feeling really excited, happy, joyful, angry. It's all good. It's all okay. That'll just kind of help you drop into how you're feeling in this moment, and then you can go from there to communicate that to who you're speaking with. And you'll find that when you're always dropping into your truth right now, that's where the deepest connection is, always, because that's where that's the deepest, like, that's where you're most human. As humans, we feel our experience. We're very emotional, and that's where connection lies. And so when you're always dropping into how you're feeling, you can always connect from that place. And maybe if you're afraid, maybe that's something that's kind of scary to share with people, especially with guys. We don't want to look weak, but I guarantee if you share how you're really actually feeling, you will connect with these women effortlessly, and you will have the most amazing connection with them than you've ever experienced in your life.
Wait,
because
I gotta say something.
Yeah.
You know what would be awesome? I mean, I think this would totally work as well. Is if you walked up to that girl that you've been, like, dreaming about but you've never talked to, and you've, like, built this fantasy in your mind and stuff.
Yeah.
And walk up to her and, like, tell her, like, look, I'm totally, like, really afraid of talking to you right now.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting over there for the last 5 minutes, and I've come up with this whole sort of life scenario about how you're the perfect girl for me, and how we're gonna get married on the beach, and we're gonna
Yeah.
honeymoon in Paris, and we're gonna have 3 kids,
Yeah.
and then just be like, look, I just had to tell you because I just had to get that off my chest because I know that's ridiculous.
Nice.
I'm sure that you're an amazing person, but I understand that it takes a little more time to get to know someone. I mean,
Oh,
if you said that to a girl, I mean,
yeah.
she would think that if you did it like in a very playful way, you know, like you weren't like serious or something. But if you were just like, I can't believe I was just dreaming about you for the last 5 minutes. Like I had to come and talk to you so I could just stop dreaming. You know what I mean? So I could like, you know, like just meet you as a normal person. I mean, she would laugh her ass off.
Oh, hell yeah. And
That's funny.
the funny thing about that is I can imagine um, this guy, you know, possibly sitting there and thinking like if he did that, like that's like the exact same thing that he should not do because, oh, she's going to think he's weird or like that's going to be really weird to bring that up or whatever the excuses are. But in reality, I totally agree with you, Michael. If that's your truth in the moment, like that is where all your life is. That's where your energy is. That's where that's where your emotion is, and that's where you're going to connect with her. So whatever that is, whatever it is you're feeling, that's where your connection is, no matter what it is. And I totally agree. I could imagine a girl just. I mean, it depends on the girl, yeah, of course, but a girl who you'd like to connect with, she would find that really funny. Because it's showing that you're really interested in her, and you know if she's a healthy girl with like healthy you know boundaries and everything, I imagine she would find that really funny and cute, probably.
Yeah, and you know what? Like if she resonated with you and your sense of humor and your personality and your strong sort of courage and masculinity that it took to actually do that, you know, if she's smart, she'll resonate with that. You know what I mean? And if you know, but if she doesn't, she doesn't, and it's like whatever. You have no idea what her experience is. You have no idea what she's going through in terms of her emotional state, in terms of her relationship situations. Like, and so that's why it's so important to sort of be able to do that because there's no perfect way to approach a woman. You know, there's no perfect approach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just about doing it, and you know, when it helps, of course, if she's looking over at you. But most of the time, women won't because they're very shy. It's not because they don't like you; it's because they're very shy.
Or they don't want every single guy to approach them.
Yeah, because that gets tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's another sort of concept. It's like, what is her experience? You know?
Yeah.
What is her perspective? What's it like to constantly being approached by guys? And most of the guys that approach them all kind of say the same thing, like, "Hi, where are you from?" You know, they're trying to
do for a living.
They're like census takers, right?
How are you?
Yeah.
What did you eat today? What did you have for breakfast?
Yeah.
Don't ask those questions. Just
say hi. Like, hi.
Yeah.
How are you? You know, she'll be like, "Oh, where's he going with this?" And just be like, "Wow, it feels really good to stand next to you," or "It feels really good to be in this space," or like, "I had to come over and say hi because, you know, I love your style." I mean, I think that's really good if you can riff on like the fact that it looks really nice and, you know, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many different ways, and we're not going to get into sort of pickup lines and stuff like that. But, I mean, the idea is to be authentic, right? I mean, that's the base idea.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna have to wrap it up pretty soon, but let's end it off with like, let's see, 3 to 5 tips that we can give the guys to take away from this call in terms of sexual escalation and let's say in terms of authentic sexual escalation. What are some like main takeaways that they can take away from this show today?
Yeah, focus on being sort of highly present with your own experience.
Yeah.
be like really grounded in your chest and your stomach and your body, you know, really feel what that is, so that when you talk to them, you're able to really sort of connect from that place as opposed to trying to connect from your analytical mind. And then just when show up and be really present to what they're saying. Don't have like a predefined script in your head. Just literally just the more blank your mind is when you go up to them, the better it's going to be, because then you're going to be totally natural and authentic and in the moment, and you're going to be really responsive to her, to what she's feeling and to what she's saying. Because sometimes when we have ideas of what we're going to say ahead of us, a girl will say something to us and we'll just totally ignore it. And we'll just say what we are going to say regardless of what she says. And when we do that, we've basically just told her that what she says doesn't matter and that she's actually not important at all. So you've made her feel really bad about herself.
Mm.
So the more blank we are and the more present we are with our body, the more we're actually going to be able to connect. So that's why when you're really in your head, it probably sometimes is better not to go talk to them, because you're going to be like really stuck and not even going to be able to say anything. So that's why it's important to be like, oh my God, there she is. She's so pretty. I want to talk to her. Okay, what does that feel like? Oh my God, nervous energy. Okay, let me reframe the nervous energy into excited energy. Like I just want to go and say hi. Okay, go say hi and just really sort of own it and be like, I'm really present and like looking into her eyes. What color are her eyes? You know, maybe in your brain, what color are her eyes? What color are her eyes? You know, really try to pick that out. Because when you try to pick that out, it really gives the impression of someone that you're really sort of trying to understand who they are. You know, it's very primal. So that was
Definitely.
what, 3, 4? I don't know.
I think that was about 3. But yes, definitely tap into your own experience. How are you feeling now? And then you might be asking, well, how do I share that with her? How do I connect with her? Okay, now that I know what I'm feeling, you can say, quote, being with you, I feel, or, you know, with you right now, I feel blank, a connection, I feel excited, or being with you, I'm noticing, you know, I'm noticing that I'm really enjoying this interaction. I'm excited about the possibilities of getting to know you better. I really think you look amazing right now, or whatever. I think your eyes look beautiful. Whatever's happening in that present moment. This is a practice of just being really present, and that's where all connection happens, in this present moment, because the present moment is the only thing that exists. If you'd like more clarity on that, read The Power of Now. That's a really good book. That'll get you really clear.
No, dude, that book is impossible. That book is impossible to understand, dude.
It's a pretty good book.
No, if they want more information, dude, follow The Highly Conscious Man.
That too. Yeah.
Or look at what I'm doing. You know, I'm not talking specifically about dating, but it applies to everything.
Yeah.
A lot of what Jack and I do is translating sort of very hard to understand ideas into language that people can access.
Yes.
You know, Power of Now is, I mean, yeah, it's good if you already understand what he's talking about. If you don't, it's like, what is this guy talking about? It doesn't resonate, doesn't make any sense. Even when you're trying to understand it, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I read it in 2003. I wanted to understand it. I really sort of consciously read it and really tried to like get it, but it didn't sink in until I read it again in 2012. You know, like 9 years later.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So yeah. The guys, you also follow me and Michael. I am the creator of highlyconsciousman.com. You can sign up on there on the email list and get regular updates from me, or you can also connect with Michael, and you connect with Michael at liveintrust.com. You can sign up on his list there to get updates from him. Yeah, once again, we're all about living authentically and living in your truth. That's really what we're all wanting anyways. Send us questions. This is going to be usually a weekly show. Next week we're off, but the week after we're going to have another show. same time on Thursday, so 2 weeks from now. So look out for that. Send us your questions, any questions that you have about anything, any area of your life that you're dissatisfied with, you feel stuck. You know, your romantic relationships, you're not sure what life direction you want to go to. You're having difficulty with your relationship with your parents, whatever it is. Send us your questions. We'll be happy to answer that for you and help you get massive clarity on that so you can move forward and be more fulfilled in your life. So yeah, thanks guys for coming on the show. Michael, do you have anything to wrap it up with?
Yeah, I think the guys could also benefit from one more concept, and that is that sort of not to rush things in terms of sexual escalation. You have to remember women are about a beat behind you.
Nice.
So if you think about it like music, they're just one beat behind you. So just, you know, allow her to be one beat behind you, because that also builds a lot of sexual tension. And slow down a little bit. You know, slow down to her beat, and this builds the tension. And the tension is really good. And understand that when you kiss a girl, you release that tension to a degree. So play with that kind of stuff. Play with this kind of stuff.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, but just understand, like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Like, what you're going through in terms of approach anxiety or questions around friend zone or sexual escalation, like, these are all sort of part of the process, you know? And sort of, if I was looking at myself, you know, 10 years ago, I would just say, yeah, man, that's part of the process. You know, enjoy the ride, like, because, you know, later on you might not have that approach anxiety, and, you know, that approach anxiety actually can be kind of fun because it really sort of propels you. You know, it really sort of motivates you. If you think about it in terms of excitement rather than fear. Yeah, and just enjoy the process. And really the best way and the fastest, the most efficient way to be good is to just be truly sort of, to truly feel what you feel and to not suppress that, to not try to be someone else that you think you need to be, but just really, because we're perfect, we're perfectly designed, you know? You know, we have a perfect nervous system, a perfect brain, you know, unless there's something really wrong with you. You know, so you can use, this is, you know, these are your tools, you know, you're programmed to, you know, to do this kind of stuff, so you can just allow that programming to sort of come from you as opposed to sort of forcing it through your analytical mind. So it's perfectly okay to just, like, be in front of a girl and without something pre-planned to say and just let it flow. Because you're going to come off so natural, you're going to come off so in the moment, you're going to come off so authentic, and you're giving the girl a chance to really get to know you as a human being as opposed to you, the created sort of mask that you wear, you know, that you learn from horrible pickup artists and TV shows and stuff like that. It's about letting the woman see who you really are by being truly authentic to who you are in that present moment, right? That's where beautiful things happen.
Nice.
All right, I'm done. This was fun, man. I'm glad we did. Yeah.
Nice.
The next time I need to figure out how to get on the computer because I'm sitting here using my arm as a tripod, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to figure out your computer technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We'll do that next time. We'll have that all set up. All right, yeah, once again, what was that?
Like, Jack, like, send in questions. If there's value here, like, send in questions, you know?
Definitely, yeah. Send us all your questions. We will answer all of them. We love answering your questions. That's what this show is all about. Q&A with the Highly Conscious Man, and Michael's going to be on a lot of these. So yeah, send us over anything you're going through that you'd like answers to.
I'm going to take an hour-long selfie.
That's awesome. Yeah, okay, so to the viewers, yeah, go visit our websites. if you're on YouTube, I'll put a link below the video. You can jump over to my website or Michael's website. Yeah, keep in touch and send us your questions, and we will happily answer them on a weekly basis on the show. So, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Michael. This has been great. We will do this again soon.
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Later, bro.
Take care.